All right, my little goofballs, took some of your suggestions, and I think the point that a lot of people were trying to make is with the coffee shop in the area that we put it in, it really didn't make much sense to have the lake where it was. So I have moved the coffee shop, even though, I really think it's cool. So I wanted to definitely use it. But I kind of, I was kind of zooming around last night and even some this morning. And I'm like, I think a lot of you guys are right. No matter how cool the building is, when you take away the uniqueness of that view, it's like I mentioned, it almost made the lake pointless right here. And I think that is kind of like the vibe that it's almost it's almost like the vibe that Hidden Hollow has with the main street not on both sides of the road, and it initially being designed with the lake view in mind. And my buddy Mineral kind of reminded me like, hey bud, now remember, you're almost kind of getting a little carried away if you're wanting to do normal budget. And him and I think a lot of you guys were like, I think the lake view and not having a facade right there, it kind of helps play into that lower budget, using the natural scenery, keeping the park in theme park type of vibe. And I was, it took me a little bit to come around to it, but like I said, messing around last night, and then you obviously saw in the time lapse, or excuse me, the cinematics, with the time lapse of that part coming up. I made a little beach area that you can see now from the front of the park, like right when you come in. And I 100% think that this was the good call. We've got the Chairplane ride kind of sticking out over the water, which I always said ever since I saw Caesar create put his Chairplane out over the water. I said, next time I do a new park and I get a chance to do that, I want this little guy kind of sticking out over the water, and this little lake view right when you come into the park. I think it just goes with that perfect. And even with the coffee shop being further down the street, I still think it ends up looking pretty cool down there. We've got a little back deck, like you guys had mentioned. There was a few of you that said, man, you need to do some kind of balcony area to where if people want to order their coffee and take it out onto the back deck and drink their coffee over with, looking over the lake and looking over the water, they could do that. So I added that little part in last night as well. This little part, you're seeing me kind of getting the beach area together. I wanted to, not necessarily, saying that Hidden Hollow will ever have a water park, but I wanted it to have like a little area like this, maybe where you could let the kids just get in and splash around. Maybe we could, we'll theme out a little changing room up here. And, it's just one of those spots where if you want to let them cool off in the middle of the day, and, if you don't feel like riding rides or shopping, bring the kids to the lake, let them get in the water, let them splash around, let them snorkel around a little bit. And I think this would be a really, really cool part of a park that could draw people in, like almost having this little natural pond, little natural lake and beach area where the little squirts could get in and, like I said, splash around, kind of like a little more, just a little different than having a splash pad in the park. And also too, I think something like this helps with the budget. It helps keep things a little more grounded in like almost park, like national park vibes. It keeps me from, just going all out on theming. But too, and I was gonna, I forgot to comment back to Mineral, but I was thinking we have to remember, low budget to you guys is different budget to Sdan. Our low budgets are like two way completely different stories. But I was watching Minerals Wet and Wild kind of just in the background over on my other monitor, And I think that really kind of watching Wet and Wild and just his little planters and the way that everything is so simplified, like even as far as the kind of like his little snack area and using the little colored wooden planks, it really, I think it kind of subconsciously made me not only want to move the coffee shop, but just really made me want to reel this back in a little bit. And my buddy Claire, she's like, you absolutely do not reel this back in. This is awesome. Claire wants me to do like a full-on Epic Universe, massive, no-budget park, which I think we'll get to one day. I just kind of want to wait and kind of see what pieces we get and what DLCs and stuff come out. But this has just been a really fun project, and I'm glad like Commander Real War, Mineral, just so many of you were reaching out about like, all right, Sdan, but watch the budget, bud. You don't want this to be Wilderness Springs 3.0. And so, you know, that really helped me kind of bring it back a little bit. And you know, just have fun and put like my own little Sdan spin on it, but not make it like a $40 million project. So, you know, that is just something we're just gonna have to keep in mind when we kind of move forward with this project. It is it's tough for old Sdan. I want things to I just want them to be as crazy, and, you know, I want it to look good as possible. And, you know, you can just watch guys like Ruble Trillions, Mineral, Corvus is back, Moomin Little Socks. All you have to do is kind of watch those guys. Beyond Drew's project, Jonty when he's cranking up on Planet Coaster 2. You don't have to spend $80 million to make your park look good. But I think we need to flip it though. Like, it's usually us type of creators, the high budget creators that fall back to realism. I want to challenge some of those guys like Mineral and, you know, Moomin and Nerd Chacho and them. And I've told John T this forever. I want to see those guys go hyper fantasy. It seems like all the hyper fantasy people usually come back and try to do realism. I want to see it flip. So if any of you guys are out there listening to this, when we get more DLCs, like, you know, definitely take your time, wait until you think you can pull it off. But I want to see like a Mineral Junction or a Masked Bandit, full on, no budget, Epic Universe style build. That is kind of what I am wanting to see, because there's just not a lot of people that emulate that right now. It is a very realism focused hobby right now, and I just love to see the crazy no budget builds from time to time pop up. So yeah, that is just kind of like a little bit of my thoughts and my ramblings for today, from last night to this morning to now that we're getting kind of in the afternoon. We just have to remember to keep me in line. We can't let me go absolutely crazy, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this project, and to try to practice and get better at, you know, some of this, more subdued, a little more realistic, minimal theming than me going all out. I know I didn't get your all's Saturday at the Springs out yesterday. I haven't actually been in that file, I don't think, at all this week. So I'll definitely work on that for you and see if we can get an update out maybe midweek. There's still, like, you know, a lot to do in Wilderness Springs, but I am really feeling the creative juices flowing in Hidden Hollow, and just like I said, really excited to get in here and see what else we can come up with. So let's jump into the real time real quick, and I'll show you the beach and kind of all of everything that, you know, we have going on as far as it sits now as of Sunday. So hold on one sec. All right, guys, so let me know kind of what you think about this now. We've got the lake view back open. We've got the beach there in the background. Have some good, I think the trees frame up really good back there. We've got the chairplane kind of off here to your left. You know, just that really cool across the water kinetic energy. You know, as you're making your way through here, we've got Plastic Swan's coffee facade, big shop down here, maybe some management offices up top. I still need to kind of work on kind of bracing up this little back patio. I put a little boating, a little giant boating sign back there. You know, when you come up onto this little platform, you get a good shot of the lake and people over here. What I would imagine would be snorkeling and swimming and just, you know, splashing around. But yeah, this is how I think I honestly originally envisioned Hidden Hollow with that lake view. So, you know, you come through here, and how cool is this? Like, you know, you've got your, over in your peripheral, you've got the Moon Portrait Studio and some of the shops over off to your right. But I think the water would definitely draw people kind of over this way, you know? Got the fence up where you can come just lean on the railing and just, you know, just take in the ambiance of the park and just the water and the trees, the wind, the people, you know, the people riding the chairplane. We've got a little restaurant over here, and then of course we've got the Silver Spur Steakhouse right when you come in. We've got the lockers back here, little set of bathrooms kind of over there off to the back. And you know, we've not really thought about backstage a whole lot. We could probably come over here and do like some employee parking, maybe do an access road. I left a little I left a bunch of space for a parking lot, or as Mineral calls it, a car park. So left plenty of space out here for a car park if we get around to wanting to do that one day. And I think you guys are right. The water and how we've started this, it matches the entrance better now. And I think I got a little carried away with the coffee shop last night. But this is cool. This is I think a really good kind of people could come over and get out of the way. A really good little decision-making spot. You know, people would be up on this thing taking selfies and pictures and all that. You know, I was even thinking that this could be something that you could even rent out for special, you know, private events. They could set up, you know, like maybe a tent system and chairs and tables. Like if, say, corporate events wanted to rent out the park for an evening or something. I think that could be a pretty cool little, I mean, even like a little, kind of like a little wedding area up there if you wanted to get married here in the park. But I think we're onto something really, really fun here. And I really, really like how this beach area kind of played out. Trying to do a little more like Mineral and make my mulch beds a little more minimal mineral. That's what I'm going to call it, minimal mineral. That's what Mineral needs to do, a tutorial series. I just came up with him a good idea. Call it Minimal Mineral Tutorial Series. Jot that down, buddy. Do that, and that you will cash in on some views. Minimal Mineral. And show us your techniques. But you know, he found out this these little like blackthorn bushes look really, really good. It gives a really good pop with some of that mulch. And then I kind of brought in these little I think they're like, I don't know, maybe aquatic ties or something. I don't know what they, resort wall decoration. I brought these in as just kind of like you know, to keep the mulch back, just like a, what do they call it? Not a barrier, but like old planter beams. And I think those look really, really cool. And then we've got some chairs and some loungers out here on the beach. So yeah, I just, I was gonna do a little more before I did an update, but I kind of just wanted to get in and show you guys the decision I made. So the coffee shop lives on. It's just a little further down the street, and we've opened back up that lake view, which I think was a really good call. Good call. Somebody was also saying too that it'd be cool maybe out, I don't know, maybe behind the coffee shop or over that way. People were wanting to see a carousel. That could be cool. Love my little facades over here. So remember, this little section is Mufu tea. This Looney Balloons that I adore is Plastic Swans. I believe this is Plastic Swans, and the Moon Portrait Studio is Sdan, just little custom corner facade. But this little place just seems fun, man. This I always tell you all, like when you say, how do you design, or what do you have in mind when you design? And I've said this forever. I design something that I would want to see in real life. And I've always had this idea of like a lakefront theme park, almost like a city/village like idea, like a riverside or a lakeside village like this, where not even just, you know, not necessarily a theme park, but like where people live. And this is just like their town, and they've built it right on the lake like this. So that's how I do it. I always think, what would I like to see in real life, or where would I like to visit? And oh, that's a cool shot, kind of back towards the town. Back towards our little main street. Our little security guy. Probably here in the next episode or two, I could see go ahead and letting some people in, because that's always cool when you see the kinetic energy of that too, watching the actual guests walk around and, you know, seeing where they're going or what they decide to do. It would be cool, like Mineral said in his last video as well, if we could get those Vista points back to where, you know, we could actually have the guests come up and actually look like they're watching the lake and all of that. So, but anyways, guys, yeah, that is your quick little Sunday update, taking your all's feedback from late yesterday evening and just trying out some different ideas. And yeah, I think we're on to something here. I think we need to move this past just concept and probably just go on full on with it now, and try to get us a good park going out of it, get us a good product going. So anyways, guys, I'm Sdanwolf. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will catch you in the next video.